Welcome, everyone. As part of my recorded sessions, I've been speaking to numerous clients and taking them on a variety of different coaching sessions. Today is going to be a phenomenal session with Stacey. We are going to do a combination of looking at past life regression with solving her current issue of leaky gut syndrome. Sounds like an odd combination, right? But the truth is, past life regression is fabulous, absolutely fabulous at solving issues in this lifetime by going back to the root cause. So, leaky gut is an awful, like IBS, digestive, problematic situation that nobody can live with. And while the medical department or the medical field can't solve this, sometimes you have to step to the side and do something a little bit bigger to get that aha moment so that the mind can release the limiting beliefs and then the body can follow with that ease and comfort. And that's exactly what I want for Stacey, is to be able to live her life day to day free of all of the health issues that she's been dealing with. And told after thousands and thousands of past life regressions, it is phenomenal how quickly life can change when we go and explore unconscious, your soul's journey, and how the pieces of the puzzle come together. So let's get started. I want to say really big welcome, Stacey. And as you know, I'm so excited to talk with you today and to jump straight into past life regression.
Yay, me too. I'm so excited to be here and thanks for asking me to do it. I'm so excited.
I know it's so exciting when we hit record on these sessions and it's like the guides start to come in, the room gets very full very quickly. It's like it's not just us, Stacey.
Oh yes, it's definitely not just us. I've learnt that.
So today we've got an interesting combination. We've prepared for this session that we're going to go back into past lives with the intention to look at possibly the root cause or to release some of the symptoms of leaky gut. Is that right by your understanding?
Yeah, definitely. It's been something that I've been dealing with for a very long time. So I'm very keen to go back and see where it all started.
It sounds like an odd combination to most people because a lot of times people do past life regression to open up their soul's journey. Isn't that interesting? And I've heard, people can have psychic readings where someone says, "Oh, I see you being an Egyptian in a past life," and it's sort of like, okay, how does that actually help in this lifetime? How is that useful? So, what I like to do after facilitating what feels like thousands and thousands of past lives is to set the intention to make this exploration useful in this lifetime. Because a lot of the times, the root cause, somebody who's got a fear of water and yet don't have a situation or an event that would cause it in this lifetime, sometimes we can go back to past lives and discover, okay, you were murdered, you were drowned in a past life. And the cellular memory holds on to that as a bit of a red flag or a warning to say, yeah, we don't do water. And so preparing for today's session with leaky gut, it does make sense to me to go back and have a look at why your unconscious mind, why your soul is just holding on to that tension. Does it make sense to you, Stacey, why we'd go back to past lives for a current day problem?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It was a concept that I'd sort of understood a few years ago when we were working together. So it definitely makes sense.
It does for somebody who's just listening for the first time, we're probably like, what? But you're used to working in Claire's weird world, so and you've seen the results before. So it's like, yeah, why not?
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, just do whatever you need to do. I wholeheartedly trust you.
Yay. Well, I've put a bit of preparation in this, and I wanted to quickly explain to the listeners about my approach on the leaky gut side of things before we go into past lives. Going straight to the point, can you explain to us a little bit how long you've had the leaky gut for, how it impacts you, that sort of thing?
Absolutely. So I suppose I've had issues with my stomach since I was 4, but in terms of the leaky gut, It's probably been about 2.5 years now. It sort of occurred in a heightened period of stress where we were moving house. And unfortunately, we'd moved into a house that had mold. So that definitely didn't help the situation. So that combined with high stress and lack of sleep and all of that sort of stuff, it was just a recipe for disaster. So in terms of my symptoms, obviously like a lot of upper abdominal pain radiating through my back, feeling very uncomfortable, and then it would sort of go through and then come out the other side, unfortunately. But just it felt very painful. I remember my first attack as such. I was in hospital for 5 days, and it was extremely uncomfortable, and I went on the gastritis healing diet. But then obviously your gut affects your mood. There's a gut brain connection there as well. Definitely sort of affect my mental clarity too. So I'm at a point now, I've eliminated gluten and dairy completely, and I'm sure there's other things that I should be, because my stomach is still kind of flaring, but even just taking those 2 inflammatory markers away has helped a lot. But I feel like it's something that I should have done a long time ago. But I got to a point where I'm like, I don't want to be sick anymore. So that was kind of a trigger.
Yeah, and you make a good point that even there's lots of different things to consider. That's why it's so overwhelming to solve. There's the environment, as you said, with the house situation, the mold situation, there's stress, then there's diet. There's so many different things that you could be doing. And it's just even that are like, oh, too much pressure. But as I hear you say, it's like, yeah, I should have done it earlier. I'm like, where was the space to do it earlier? Like, and truth be told, people sort of build up to that point where it's like, yeah, I've actually had enough. I don't want to manage this anymore. Put the spotlight on me, which can be so difficult for people to put the spotlight on this, especially this type of health issues. Like, yeah, it's not nice. With the reflection of how it's been compared to how you want your world to be, does anything stand out to you? Like, yeah, doing this, doing everything you're doing. What is the end goal for you, Stacey?
It sounds silly, but just to feel good. I think it can be a little frustrating when I'm like, I haven't eaten anything that I shouldn't have, and my stomach still is flaring. So I think just really getting to know what my body likes, what my body doesn't like. And then I suppose in relation to their autoimmune side of things is just not being in pain as well. Just knowing what my body likes and just feeling light and pain free as much as possible would be great.
Yeah, pain free, feeling good. That says it all.
Yeah.
Okay, so then let me talk about my approach with how I, in Claire's Weird and Wonderful World, how I see this. I'm looking at, I've got to zoom in on like the leaky gut. It's the gastrointestinal area, the bowels, so the stomach and the bowels. I've got to just say that. When I'm narrowing down how to help a client, I'm looking at, well, what is the main function of the bowels? What is the main function of the stomach? And simply, it's just like to absorb nutrients, vitamins, minerals, and obviously expel the leftover. Yet your body is doing things well and truly out of balance, like it's getting rid of what you need and then it's holding on to the problems. And so we've got, everything's out of balance, which says a lot. When you reflect on life outside the legal situation, just in general, can you relate to life being out of balance? You know, your situation and holding on to problems versus letting go of what you need. Like, just can you relate to that? Just showing up in day-to-day world.
Definitely. And it's something that that I was really concrete on nailing this year was more balance and that work-life balance, working a lot too many hours, not having enough family time, definitely feeling like I'm spreading myself too thin in some areas and not giving myself enough in others. I definitely had that revelation of needing more balance this year. So I definitely resonate with that.
Yeah. And so your body is speaking to you. Your body's definitely highlighting like that pain, that the problems that's coming up. It's it's a bit of a metaphor of like what's going on in an overview of your world, right? So if we drill into it a little bit more, when we think about the bowels, the stomach absorbing nutrients and vitamins, my perspective of nutrient vitamins and minerals is that they represent support, right? Like you have to have the vitamins and minerals, they support your growth, they support your health, so on and so forth. So when I'm looking at this, it indicates to me that your body is challenged by receiving support. Like there's some limiting beliefs here about how much we let in, how much we receive, how much we hold on to support, the trust, the good stuff. Can you relate to that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So then my wicked sense of humor here is saying like support offends your bowels. It's like support, what support? Like
Yep. I'm very much like I will bring it all in and I'll tackle it myself and all of that sort of stuff. So, yep, definitely resonate with that one too.
when you're hearing me unpack it like this, is it helpful for you to get those rich ahas of like, okay, what's going on? Or not yet?
Yeah.
We need more layers.
No, it's definitely giving some light bulbs, definitely. And even like, holding on to things that that I need to let go of and all that sort of stuff as well. It all makes a lot of sense and yeah, it makes sense.
That's good. Because sometimes I can skip over pieces, so I just wanted to check in. When I've worked with clients who've got IBS, gut issues, they tend to have limiting beliefs, the backstory that sort of sound like why bother doing what I want to do when the tribe or the family aren't going to support what I want to do? There's misunderstandings, communication is difficult, like there's a tension or butting heads, and so it can be reflecting on other clients. I've seen them want to, whether they've got ADHD or they're just completely wild and colorful, they've got ideas about how they want to live their world, and it doesn't match up to their family traditions or their family's way of what they expect. And so when they come in with all of this color and speak to the family about this, especially when they're little, um, I know I had this from my mum. It was just like, oh no, what would people think of me? And so immediately there's a shutdown, a suppression of who I am, what I want to do. And life is so rich when we've got that community, we've got that support, and yet to have that doubt put into you, it makes sense then why the bowels would say, well, like, what's the point of being healthy, energized? Like, the more I do what I want to do, the more it just creates a shit show. Can you, like, does this make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So this is where I would take it. Like, obviously, we've done plenty of coaching together and things. So it's going to be, this would take more than one session, obviously, with past lives. But this is a hint for anybody who's listening who's got digestive issues on where you can take this to access your solution. So, so what I want to do is take you to past lives to have a look at where your unconscious mind started to make that limiting decision that support's not safe, or I mean, it absolutely has to be in your words. The intention has to be in your words. But I would expect us to go back to a time uh, where you were well regarded for your color, for your insights, for your everything, and then somehow in some sort of situation you were misled or misunderstood, and somewhere there your unconscious mind like, yeah, I don't trust support, I don't trust something of that nature. Help me with my trying to unpack this, but what's coming up for you as I'm talking about this, Stacey?
Um, yeah, I mean, even I suppose, like, just sort of hearing it in that way, it feels like it's a past life that we haven't explored before. So it's definitely going to be interesting because I feel like those were other challenges that we've worked through. So yeah, I'm excited to sort of see where it stems. I always get a little bit like nervous with this because I'm like, what if it doesn't come to me? Like, what, what if I'm just sitting there and it's like, I don't know, but it always does. So, but yeah, no, I feel like it's maybe a past life we haven't explored yet. So yeah.
Yeah, it's with coaching, you look at the big stuff and then there's another layer, another layer. The layers get quite subtle and it can be the semantics of, the word trust versus support. Like it's quite interesting. Once you get it, like the word, it changes so quickly. And again, working with with me with ADHD, as a quick example, I used to have a belief that I would only answer questions when somebody asked the question. Like I wouldn't just offer my opinion without permission. You have to ask the question, which makes it quite difficult to create content, Stacey. If no one's talking to you and they're not asking questions, like, okay, well, I've got nothing to say. And then my coach had said, well, what if you travel on a time stream where somebody's already asked the question and then answer that? And I was like, sounds a bit weird and odd, right?
Oh,
But
I love it.
and it was like, there's the loophole, which then bursts that bubble of being able to do recordings, sessions, content, which is now, coming out of my ears basically. But it's that loophole and that specific thing that the unconscious mind goes, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, I
Do I
love that. That's awesome. And you're so right, especially like with my business as well. I'm just like, I have so much that I want to say, but like, what do I want to say? Someone asked me something, and it's not until like if I have clients who ask me the same questions sort of within the week, and I was like, there's the question. But it makes a lot of sense to do that timeline and all that.
Yeah, so this is why this works so well for people who think creatively. It's sort of like there's rules that our unconscious mind has made, and then when you find the loophole around it, it's like, oh, okay, don't have to live by that heavy duty, rigid rule anymore. And that's similar to what's happening, I believe, with your leaky gut, is on one hand, you want to do all the things to be accepted and do all the right things by your people. And then on the other hand, there's the you that wants to be out there and unsure about, yeah, what to say, how to present, to be accepted. And it's like, I think this is like oil and water. I don't think this is supposed to be balanced. I think this is supposed to be balanced with, anyway,
Yeah.
fill in the gaps. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It's making sense.
Cool. So when you reflect back on everything that I've unpacked here, even connecting into the gut, everything that's, let me go about this another way. If you checked in with your gut on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most uncomfortable, how is it today?
It's probably about a 4 today.
And on a really bad day, I imagine it goes off the scale a little bit.
Yeah, probably upwards to like an 8.
Yeah, okay. When you take yourself back to a time where you felt really enthusiastic about an idea, something that you wanted to put out into the world, and just taking yourself back to that time, looking at focusing on the gut, what's the first thing that the gut is saying about this exciting idea?
I'm just feeling like butterflies, like just, yeah, like excited, but just kind of restricted, if that makes sense.
Yep. Now, this is an interesting and odd question. When we shift the focus and we think about that exciting idea and bring it up to the heart space, what does the heart say about this exciting idea?
It says yes. It's just, it
Yes.
feels like warm and it's just like, yes, like, yeah, that's the best way I can explain it. Just the warmth and, yeah, joy.
Yeah. Yeah. So the heart knows what it wants. It's supportive of what you want. It's the gut that's like, okay, yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, there's the coming and going, the butterflies are restricted. in the manifesting world, we would check in with the heart, with the business idea, what do I want? And then let all of those ideas flood in that feel warm and good. Then we take those ideas to the mind, that masculine sort of like what are the steps in order to action this? And then we would take that manifestation to the gut, and the gut would say, okay, it's time to step forward, or it's actually not the right time, we'll step back. But it doesn't mean it's a no, it just means it's not the right time. It sounds like your body is going like, great idea, like no, like restrict, like that, like it just great idea breaks. Like it's not even letting you get that clarity on moving forward or anything. Like, is that making sense?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So if we focused momentarily on that butterflies, that restricted feeling, first thing that comes to mind, what's its purpose for being in Stacey, that restricted feeling?
To keep me safe.
Yeah. And then the next one here is to keep you safe from what?
The unknown. That was the first thing that came to my head.
Yeah, okay. When you focus on the unknown, because the unknown will mean different things to different people, are you able to get a little bit more clarity, the unknown of darkness, the unknown of people, the unknown of light? Like, can you drill in a little bit more?
Hmm. The unknown of the future.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. The unknown of the future. Tell me more. What does that mean for you?
I think just not having a clear path for the first time in my life, which is so exciting. Like, but again, it's that nervous kind of restriction. Yeah, it's the uncertainty of where I'm going, and it's for the first time in my life. I feel like I don't have a plan, but it's kind of exciting and nerve wracking. So yeah. Anyway, just going in circles, but yes.
Yeah, okay. And so previously, would you say that the gut liked having a solid, structured plan, even though it was hard, tense, and all the things, it was like, okay, at least there's a plan, there's something to focus on?
Well, it's crazy, isn't it? Because I think the gut definitely liked that certainty, but my heart didn't. and I was just like, oh, like is that it? You know what I mean? So I think the gut may have liked it, but my heart didn't.
That's really good self-awareness. That's really good.
Yeah.
So then that tells me that we're going to go back to a past life where there was not fear of the unknown, but just the path was the path was uncertain. So, uh, okay, so I'm just writing that one down. So the path was uncertain. In your words, how would you describe the intent for today? Where is your gut saying we need to go back to? Like back to path where the path was uncertain, or where there was the fear of the unknown, or not trusting people, not trusting support? Like what stands out to you?
The path was unknown.
Path was unknown. Awesome. Cool. All right. Do you have any questions or anything else there that's sitting that wants to contribute to this?
Not that I can think of, no.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so we've got everything that we need. We've got one more quick question, as I always do. When we check in with the guts, how will it be beneficial if the path is known?
The first thing that came to mind was security. So a sense of security.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right, let's go. So I'm just going to invite you to look up. So you're looking towards those gorgeous eyebrows of yours, and then just gently closing your eyelids, settling into the body, settling into space. Knowing that this time is just for you, we're going to set the intention for this process to be really easy, full of those rich aha moments. And so we can move beyond time, space, and reality. I want you to find yourself floating right up high above Mother Earth and just looking down and noticing there's that really busy time stream of yours. Intuitively, you'll know which direction is your future and which direction is your past. And today, what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way back to a past life, going all the way back to when the path was unknown. And so, what I want you to do, Stacey, is finding yourself just automatically zooming all the way back on your time frame. And what you'll notice is there's that dark bubble of light on your time stream. It indicates when the path was unknown. And consciously, you don't have to know, but your unconscious mind stores that memory. So what we're going to do in a moment, not now, is to drop down into that event, to see what you saw, hear what you heard, and feel what you felt in that past life where the path was unknown. So on 3, 2, 1, dropping down into that event, feeling yourself being drawn down into that event where the path was unknown, back into that past life, and allow the images to flow freely, trusting the first thing that comes to mind. Is it daytime or nighttime, Stacey?
Daytime.
Are you inside or outside?
Outside.
What's the temperature like?
It's cool. The sun's on me, but it's cool.
If you look down at your body and observe what you're wearing, do you notice if you're male or female?
Female.
Roughly how old are you?
5, I think.
Oh, only little. Well, let's try this. Let's check if we can get your name or the letter of your name.
Al was the first thing that came to mind.
Oh, awesome. I was getting something like Tilly, so we're pretty much on par there with the L. If you take a look around at your surroundings, just observe what's around you. Do you notice?
I know I'm standing in grass and I've got little daffodils at my feet. Just seem to be in like an open field almost.
Is there anyone with you?
No.
When we check in with her, how does she feel about being in the field with the daffodils?
A little lonely.
Get a sense of why she'd be out here by herself?
Not really. I think she wanted to play, but she wanted someone to play with.
Do you get a sense if this is a familiar place for her?
Yeah, it is.
Tell me, what else do you notice?
There's like a big kind of building. It's almost like a house or like a mansion. Well, I can see it. Oh, I can see on my left, and yeah, almost like a mansiony type thing. I'm quite far away from it in the grass.
Checking in, how does she feel about this?
A bit isolated, to be honest.
So what I want you to do is I want you to imagine, Stacey, that you float up above that event, just above that lifetime. And it's like you've got a remote control in your hand. And what I want to do is I just want to rewind. Being 5, we're only going to go back just a smidgen in time. I just want you to find yourself going back in that lifetime to where you were with family. So just pressing rewind, 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 just to be there now with family. Where's mum?
She's downstairs.
In that lifetime, where's dad?
He's with me in a room inside.
Any siblings?
2.
What kind of lifestyle do you have?
We're very wealthy. I don't know if it's royalty, probably almost, but very wealthy.
Tell me more. Why is the wealth important to you? Why is that getting your attention?
Just my surroundings. I can see my dad, just the way he's dressed is like he's wearing like purple. I can see that there's maids around us. I can see just sort of the house that whatever we're living in, and the people around us, and the way that we're all dressed. We look like we're very well off.
Yes, to be wearing the colour purple, that says a lot about your father's prestige.
Yeah.
I imagine with that kind of wealth that you're well fed.
Yes.
Can you get a bit of a snapshot and understanding of how healthy or not healthy that little body is, that 5, or we're earlier than 5, but how well she is?
I think physically she's okay. I think mentally I feel a lot of uncertainty, especially around my dad. Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty that I'm sort of feeling. So physically I think I'm okay, but mentally I think I'm holding in a lot of emotions.
First thing that comes to mind, what's that main emotion that stands out?
It's that uncertainty and fear.
If you could scan that little body, where is she holding on to that?
Well, in her stomach, I can feel it sort of around here.
Tell me, what color is that feeling?
Orange.
Orange. Let's get a bit playful with this, Stacey, because my intent is to really unpack and uncover some of this. As weird and wonderful as this sounds, I want you to notice that orange energy becomes a bit of a weird time portal. What I want you to do is allow that orange energy to become that time portal where your consciousness, you as you are, can travel back. Just find yourself moving all the way back in that orange time tunnel, back to the moment in time where your soul was riddled with uncertainty. And so just finding yourself going all the way back, all the way back, and all the way back, and just to be there. And there's a door that opens to that moment where you decided to be uncertain. Opening that door, stepping into that space, Are you inside or outside?
I'm inside, but it's dark.
Yeah. Being dark, if we were to activate the lights on your hands, like those hand energy centers, just to shine a light, go, oh, that's a bit interesting. What do you notice about being in the dark here?
I feel like I'm almost in a wooden container space. I don't know. I'm getting wood. I'm seeing wood. I'm in something.
Yep. Yeah. Male or female?
Oh. First thought was female. Oh, not sure.
Yep. That makes sense. Can you describe for me, as you're noticing the wood, is it a confined space or is it just so much space?
Oh. Initially, it felt confined. It feels more confined the way I'm looking at it. It's like, oh, sorry, Clay. It's like confined here, but I don't know what's on over here. That almost feels like it's a bit more open, but I'm only focusing here. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah. Is there a reason that you can't turn around, or is it, or you were told, like, is there a reason you're just in that direction?
It's almost it's almost like if there's a door here and I'm feeling like someone is going to come through the door here. So I'm waiting for that instead of going here.
Yep. Yep. That makes sense. So with that in place, let's float above that. Oh, and even I feel the relief floating up above. Ah, feeling yourself floating higher and higher. So that moment down there is so small, it's so insignificant. And as we're up above that moment in time, new perspective like a bird just looking down there. Tell me, what do you notice about that event down there, Stacey?
It's literally just me and whatever that was. It's dark on this side where the door is, and I just see all of this light on this side here, but I'm not even looking at it. And there's nothing else. That's all I can see. There's no objects or anything. It's just that.
Can you tell me, who told you to focus on the door?
There was someone on the outside that told me that they would be back.
Okay. I've got two directions now. Did you trust that person that said they'd be back?
I did, but now not so much.
And with that in place, what did you say to yourself as time went by and the door didn't open?
Maybe they'll be back. Maybe.
The metaphor that's coming to mind is like, that puppy dog just sort of looking at the door, waiting for the door to open. I'm wondering about the light behind you. What were you told was in the light?
I just heard, don't look at the light. I don't know what that means, but I just heard that.
Yep, yep. So it sounds like whoever's telling you this stuff, you're trusting them. It makes sense to you. They know better. They've got the authority. What would happen if you didn't listen to them?
Ooh, feeling like I'll get punished from that person.
It's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If I listen to you, I'm waiting, I'm punished. If I don't listen to you, I'm punished.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that holding pattern.
How so?
Well, it's a no-win situation. Tell me, how does the body respond, or why you would conform to this? Like, talk to me about what stands out to you.
I think the fear of whatever that person will do if they find out that I'm looking at the light is greater than me, for now at least, looking at the light and seeing what that's all about. It's just that fear of being punished and getting in trouble is what is sort of holding me. I feel like I'm just sort of crouched down here, like, you know, knees to my chest, just kind of really preserving myself in this current state.
Awesome. With that, what I want you to do one more time, because you're doing this so well, is I want you to float up above that event, above all the weird metaphors, the symbology, the doors, the light, floating up above that like we were high up above that. Now, this time, Stacey, we're going to go back in time to when you handed your power over to others. And again, just feeling like that train, that vortex of energy, that time tunnel pulling you back to when you had your power over to others. They knew better. Feeling yourself going back, and then just to be there. It's like opening the door to that lifetime. And it's a split decision to hand your power over to others. What do you notice?
There's a baby. It's my baby. It's like a newborn. Doctors, there's some decision about my baby's care, and it feels very, it doesn't feel like urgent, but it feels like it needs to be a quick decision.
Yep, okay. So we've gone back to a lifetime. There's a baby. I imagine as a mother or new time mother that you're helpless, like, right? Like it's like, okay, there's a situation. It's not just me anymore. Like in the wilderness, in the jungle of life, like it's not just me anymore. I actually have to rely on other people.
Yeah, yeah.
So when you take yourself back to that moment that the baby needs care, you don't know how to do the care. What plays out next?
It's almost like there's a decision that has to be made around the baby's care, and I'm feeling one thing, I'm being told something else, and almost feels like they're about to take the baby away and do what they think is best, even though it doesn't feel right for me.
Yep. Yep. This is awesome. I want you to notice, we're going to play with the really finite detail here. I want you to zoom in your focus on those feelings that you knew what to do. Where did that self-trust come from? Or like talk to me about what expertise you had about those, that knowing. Talk to me about that.
It feels like it's maternal instinct, like just that sort of intuition, inner knowing. Even though I'm getting the feeling I'm a first time mother in this life, it's feels like, you know, I've done it before and I've got that sort of, yeah, inner knowing. It's hard to explain, but it feels like it's there.
Would you say that that's in the heart space?
Yeah.
It's that natural instinct, it's that inner knowledge, that inner trust.
Yeah.
If you glimpse at that lifetime, do you see other women demonstrating that to you? Grandmothers, aunts, other people? Like, yeah, there's that maternal instinct, there's that inner knowing, there's that trust in that feminine.
Yeah, yeah, my mother and grandmother. Yeah.
So it's well and truly something that you know very well. If we slow down the movie of your mind, what did that doctor or somebody outside of you have to say for you to disregard that strong instinct?
They had a very male dominating presence about we've done this 1,000 times and we know what's best. It's that real, yeah, that dominance, that presence of, well, we've done this before and you haven't.
Mm. Yeah. And imagine that you want the best for your baby.
Yeah.
So it was the words they used.
Yes.
Interesting. With that snapshot, Stacey, I want you to float up above that lifetime. We've got an amazing piece of information here. I want you to float up above that lifetime like we've done before in other sessions and go back to that room of eternity, going back to that soul contract table. And we could spend lots of time exploring your guides, but for now, what I want you to do is just want your guides to bring forward that big book of your soul's journey. I want them to turn to that page that represents that moment in time, the difference between the feminine, the instincts versus the outside voices who know best. With that page open, what have you learnt from that situation?
To trust my instincts.
Anything else?
It's almost like to not have the fear of someone else's opinion in a weird way. I almost felt scared when they were like, no, I've done this before, yada, yada. And it almost instilled a little bit of fear, but it's like you can allow someone to have an opinion while having your own.
Yeah, wow. Yep. Yep. What learnings stand out about support and sorry, what's learning stand out about support?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Mhm. I heard you say that some of those lessons here about trusting your instincts, trusting that others can have their opinion and that's all that is. Is there any other lessons here that stand out from the difference of your intuition versus others?
To have more trust in myself. And it's almost like I gave away my trust to other people instead of having it for myself.
Yeah. That's what I was actually getting with the word support, supporting myself. And it gave, yeah, so trust, support at the moment, the spirit world's intertwining those for some reason.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that stands out?
The first thing that sort of came to mind, I was just trying to interpret it in my mind, was just even that power of that masculine presence of that doctor, you know, even that in itself was like almost made me want to not be dominant, because I felt like it wasn't my place. This is kind of going in a weird direction, but it almost felt like as a feminine, that wasn't my stand. Like I should be more like, okay, yes, okay, but to be able to have that sort of assertiveness, and not assertiveness, but you know what I mean, like to have that sort of be that pillar. Just because I'm a woman, it doesn't mean that I can't have that because I'm against a masculine. That kind of went in a weird direction, but that was like the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. So there's that power of the masculine presence, and stopping yourself from questioning it, just allowing them to be on the pillar.
Yeah, exactly, and not being afraid to step up as a woman, and um, just because back then it wasn't, you know, the norm, or you know, it wasn't right as such. Um, but yeah, just sort of having that strength, I suppose.
Talk to me briefly about that image for you to be seen as being right. I'm hearing like be respectful. Like, talk to me about that need to be seen in a certain light.
I almost feel like I always feel like in that moment I felt like I was ahead of my time. Like it was, you know, so long ago, but and obviously, you know, there was the sort of masculine feminine ideology back then, but I almost felt like in that moment I was way ahead of my time, where I was like, well, fuck you, don't tell me what to do. Like I'm the mum type thing. But I felt like I couldn't do that because that wasn't the way things were done back then.
Yeah, and then I'm sure if we went back into ancient lifetimes, it were the mum probably was the head of the house, like she is the queen.
Yeah, yeah.
My intuition is asking us to explore a different possibility. If it's okay with you, if the team can do what they do, whether they show you in like a magical globe or however, or a holograph, however it shows up, I want to have a quick glimpse of that lifetime, Stacey, where you did trust that instincts, where you did pull on that inner strength of like, yes, mother knows best. And almost like see that time stream play out if you had actually stood up, said, respectfully said, no, this is what I'm doing. Tell me what you notice about that possibility.
I can just feel like the warmth, and just feeling really proud of myself, and holding my baby, knowing that one, I stood up for myself, and instinctually I know that that was the right thing. I don't know, I feel really warm, and I feel um just really proud of myself, like fuck yeah, I did that, you know what I mean?
Have a look. How does the baby respond to the warmth in contrast to the previous fear?
She's asleep in my arms and she's comfortable, whereas before she was very restless, and she was very restless.
Wow. So what does this say to you about that centered trust of support, that when you're not in that fear space, like there's that comfort, there's the healing in sleep, there's all the things, like what does that say, or what does that mean for you?
Then I need to stand up for myself and pursue what I believe in, and don't hold back because that's not what is expected, or what I perceive is expected. Yeah.
Just invite you to put your hand on the heart space there, Stacey, and check in. What does the heart want you to know about these two, this contrast here, the fear versus the love?
It's just such a completely different feeling. When it was me and that masculine energy, I felt very small and crouched and um, like just helpless. Whereas like I feel so empowered with that baby in my arms. I feel strong, capable. I can, I almost feel like I can take on the world kind of thing. They're just two completely different pictures and feelings.
Invite you in that space to, however this works within the quantum, is to get that heart energy, that strength, that capable take on the world, to just kind of melt into your gut area there, and just reminding every single cell in your gut to, sounds a bit cliche, but to shine with love, to come forward with love, that it really is the suffering of the mind, the intimidation, the shame of making yourself small, all of that, the mind playing games with how you should be versus following that heart space, that strength. For me, what I know when you shine that love, that respect, it's almost like seeing the fear in the doctor's eyes. And it's like, yeah, like attracts like, and it's like, no, I've got this.
It was
How does that,
interesting. Sorry,
uh,
Claire. It was just
are you good?
interesting because when you were saying, how does it feel when you stand up for yourself and have that trust? The doctor wasn't even there for me. Like he was gone. The door was shut. He was just out of the picture for me. So I feel like that's a clear message as well.
Yeah. Who's there instead?
Just me and my baby.
Yeah, and just that container of energy from your mother, your grandmother. It's sort of like, yeah, we've got this.
Exactly.
With that in mind, what I want you to do is to momentarily come out of that room of eternity, but I want you to find yourself above your time stream so that we can pour that beautiful strength, the capability back on that version of you who was avoiding the light. And it's just like being a future guide to that past self. And it's just like, just turn around and embrace the light. How does she respond?
She's very happy.
I want to allow all of that healing, that strength to occur in that time stream, that lifetime. And then what I want you to do is I want you to find yourself moving back to the previous version of you, that little version of you in the daffodil garden, shining that strength, that capability. And I want you to put like that bubble of light over her so that she can observe the father, but she doesn't have to try on his masculine energy. It's like, yeah, that's a bit interesting how he's throwing his weight around, but I don't actually have to take it on to stand up. Is there anything else that little version of you needed?
No.
And we'll close the door on that lifetime. And now what I want you to do is find yourself coming back to this lifetime, but moving into the future, a week, 2 weeks into the future, and noticing that there's that new path forward, there's new options moving forward. And when you listen to your heart space, trusting that's that instinct, that all of these opportunities start to shine the light. It's like, yes, I can actually look at those light-filled opportunities. How does your gut respond to that?
This feels calm and just at ease.
What do you have to believe about yourself to have that calm and ease?
It's like whatever the path looks like for me, like I know it's going to be good. It's having that assurance that no matter what it looks like, I may not know, what it looks like, but just having that inner knowing that it's going to be really good.
Yes. If it's okay, if I may share, instead of, being nose up against doors, waiting for them to open, it's just like turn around and go do. Life's supposed to be easier than that. Go step in the light, go play in the playful energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
it.
So it really is a different perspective. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, with that in place, then I just invite you to float up above wherever you are and start to travel back to this now moment, bringing with you those rich aha moments, the strength, the capability, seeing the truth from your perspective, starting to come back into what we call reality, starting to wiggle those fingers and toes, heart rate back to normal. Big breath in, opening your eyes to a whole new you.
Hmm. Oh, goodness me.
How are you feeling?
Good, dozy, but good. Oh, like I like that bit. It almost like it just came to me at the end with the path, just being like, well, we don't know, like just more about life in general. I suppose we don't know what life is going to look like, or but um, I just know it's going to be good. And I don't need to know what it looks like right now. I just have that inner knowing of, things are good. Yeah, I was just like, oh, yes.
Yeah, and because it sounds like um that limiting decision, like that a limiting decision can be a little bit like a soul contract. It's like, right, I don't understand this. It's limiting. I'm going to go into it, going to explore the darkness, going to explore the masculine, going to explore why they think they're in charge, going to explore, why they say it's the best. And then you do all of these lifetimes going, I still don't get it. And then what we've done is like actually just you've learned what you need to through that hardship. Just go back to what worked.
Mhm.
And it's interesting how yeah, time is not linear. Going back to a time when you had that baby, it was like, wow, it's just incredible what came up.
Yeah, no, it was very interesting. I see it's like there's some common themes in some of my past lives, which is also interesting. So I'm sure there's something there, but oh no, it's good.
When you got to that aha there about handing your power over, how is life going to be different now?
Well, I think I'm giving, and I think this is something that I'm learning through, but just, sort of giving myself the power. It's almost like when you give your power to other people and then you're left feeling like you have nothing. And um, so just even more of a lesson, one that I've continuously been learning is just to hold my power and, yeah, stand up for myself, especially in business as well. And, yeah, give myself that support. And yeah, I don't know, that was a bit of a roundabout answer, but hopefully it made sense.
No, that was fantastic. The the very non-humble moment for me was like, Stacey, it did still come back to support. It still came back to supporting yourself. It still came back to, do I trust others? Like I spent a fair bit of time preparing for yesterday's session, linking in what does the gut want to tell us? And it was like there's an imbalance here with trust and support. And we still went back to it. It was fabulous.
Yes. Oh my gosh. See, you just know it all, Claire. You just know it all.
When we went back to the 5-year-old in the daffodil garden, I'm like, yeah, no, this can't be the root cause. This can't...
Yeah, you knew. You knew. Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, and so that's just come with time to learn, to trust, to go off script, to not be, I'm a big fan of not doing what I was told.
Same.
Go off script to go play, go find the good stuff, right? So,
Absolutely.
one last check in. How is your gut feeling about what's just come to the surface?
It's actually feeling good. It feels lighter. I mean, it wasn't feeling terrible before, but it just feels lighter now. So I'm excited to see how it's sort of going to go. And obviously, it's probably going to take more than one session, but I am excited to see how it goes in the coming weeks.
The interesting thing to keep in mind is if you find yourself spinning back into old patterns, you now have a new strategy, a new piece of the puzzle. Go, okay, yeah. Did I come out of my heart space? Like, am I at the door waiting for somebody else to open it? Like, um, if I had another client who was having trouble with family members, Christmas time tension, not very nice people, and sometimes I would have to say to her, okay, you need to. These are really not nice people. And like, see those people in their criminal orange jumpsuits. Anytime that you start to go back into the old, oh, maybe I got it wrong, guilty, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, jumpsuits. Okay, yeah, no, I'm back on this path. So sometimes the work is just to put that in place of like, okay, drop back into the heart space, build up that strength and that capability. Is this making sense of like the bit of home play that you can do just to maintain this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because even when it comes to taking herbs for the gut issues or any medication, it's sort of like, yeah, dropping into the heart space, receiving the trust, receiving the support, doing this for me versus, oh, I've got the schedule, the to-do list, like, does this fit in? It's like, no, pause, 30 seconds, this is for me. So
Yeah.
it's still part of the mind game to put you first.
Oh, absolutely. And it's something I was even thinking about it yesterday. I'm like, you're doing all the things, like all the practical things and responding to client messages and doing stuff around the house. But it's just like, how often do I actually take time to sit down and like what you said in your message, like ask my stomach, like, what purpose does this have and all of that sort of stuff. And, I'm like, that's, if not like just as important, if not more. So definitely will be making more time to actually factor that into my routine, along with taking all of my supplements and all of that sort of stuff. It's important. So yeah, no, I was just thinking about that yesterday. So it's interesting that you said it like that. So
I would take it. I'm creative. I would take it one step further. I'd get little stickers. I got my jar of jelly beans here, but I'd get my stickers and I'd put like little love hearts on on the lids or something, just as a like yes mind. We're bringing in the love, the support.
That's a good idea. I'll do that.
Cool, cool. All right. Well, that was a fabulous session. Let me know as you do. Let me know how you go. And thank you to the listeners who's listening. Hopefully, you've gained a bit of an insight that healing doesn't have to be structured, rigid, hard. You can have a lot of fun with your healing journey. So, a big thank you to you, Stacey, and a big thank you to the listeners.
Beautiful. And thank you so much for asking me to do this. It was fun.
That's fun. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Don't press stop, Stacey. I forgot to tell you that at the beginning, and I'm like, I've got to really say that quick and edit that.
That's all right.